Hi, everybody. Welcome to Life Stories Podcast, People Helping People. I'm SwagAbility, your host. My guests today are Stephen and Julie Wagstaff. Stephen and Julie are an interabled couple that want to offer services and encouragement to people going through difficult circumstances. Stephen was in a devastating car accident when he was 19 and has been a quadriplegic since then, and his wife has been through cancer treatments. They know what it's like to walk through these hard things, but their faith has remained strong, and now they want to help others through their podcast and through their nonprofit, SwagAbility. This was a really encouraging conversation, and if you know someone this could benefit, I ask that you send it to them and get them connected with Stephen and Julie. They are so sweet and so friendly and want to help in any way that they can. Thanks for
Well,
being
I'm
here.
excited to talk to both of you, to meet you. I know we've been trying to get this done for a little bit, and so I'm excited to meet you. But I love SwagAbility. I love the company that you started. I think it's so helpful. I have a son with a disability. It's not a physical disability, but my heart is for people that just, might need a little extra help. That's just where my heart goes. So I love what you're doing. And I really want to hear from both of you how you got started. Why did you start this company? Why was it important to you?
Mm. It came out of a 7-month hospital stay for me, and, I didn't know if I was getting out at the end of the 7 months. They couldn't figure out why I was so sick. I'd run my course on antibiotics. I broke my neck when I was 19 in a diving accident, so I've been a quadriplegic for over 30 years, and, just aging with a spinal cord injury, life caught up to me, running low on antibiotics at work within, and plus they didn't know where the infection was. So I had been a pastor and I love people. I love walking with people through hard times. And I was used to preaching and somewhat of counseling, but we had never really let people in behind the closed doors of the Wagstaff home. And so talking about the loss of our child, talking about losing parents when we were just young, like kids, losing a 37-year-old sister that's now left behind 11 kids, 15 and under, and then June's cancer diagnosis and then surgeries. So thinking about that, I was thinking, what can I tell the next person whose life's about to be flipped upside down by a phone call today or tomorrow? And I thought, we have lived experience. I don't exactly know what that'll turn into. And so I just kind of started throwing names around. And then I remember previous to having my spinal cord injury, I was always called Swagstaff. It was just a combination of Stephen Wagstaff when I was playing sports. And so I was got thinking, well, swagger, swagstaff, swag, and swagability came into mind and it just stuck. And so I posted my first video with an IV running into me and just want to let people know that I want to live authentically. Don't know how much time I have. I don't know how many days God's given me, but I want to, if there's somebody I can help, whether that's from pastoral skills or whether that's just talking to them where nobody else knows, what our conversation about how did you at least, I'm writing a book called One Revolution at a Time. How did you at least take that next step or push your chair? Out of that grew the organization of SwagAbility. It was to walk with people going through life's difficult circumstances. We don't claim to have all the answers, but we have lived experiences in a few areas that people are dealing with. And it just kept morphing from there. And Julie shared her heart and how it cost us almost our marriage about caregiving burnout. And then, so we then developed a heart for caregivers. And it's just developed as we've gone.
So, how practically are you supporting people? What are you doing? I know y'all have a podcast, but what else are you doing to help people?
Yeah, our main pillars are encouragement and education. And that would be the podcasting portion. A couple new shows coming out. The SwagAbility show is super well received this last month, and, that's more of a medical,
Yeah.
assistive technologies, things like that. We have a new show coming out, Interrupted by Adversity, stories of people that are overcoming great odds and things
Yeah.
like that. So if there was that avenue for encouragement. The other pillar, um, would be walking relational. We want to get to know your story, correspond with one another,
Yeah.
allow us into your life to just ask the difficult questions that you want answers to, or get mad at whatever, and how did you deal with it? And so that's the kind of relational portion. And then we have the support, portion where, there's counseling as a pastor or, life coaching, along with if they need not a handout, but a hand up in life.
Yeah.
We have a small donor base that if there's a piece of assistive technology that people just can't afford and they're out of a job or what have you, we want to be able to make sure that they're able to thrive in life when there is something that can help them, but they don't have the means to get there. So those are really the 3 or 4 pillars of
Sure.
what we've built Swagability on.
I love that, and that's gotta be so encouraging for people, and I think about, maybe something has just happened. There's been an incident, an accident, something's just happened, and they have found your podcast and they're listening to you. You said that your accident was, over 30 years ago, and I'm sure you probably look at things now differently than you did when it first happened. What kind of encouragement could you offer somebody that's maybe just stepping into something scary like that?
That the sun will come up tomorrow.
Yeah.
Once they're stable, if they've made it through that initial, "Now I'm stuck like this," there's a cliche, "No storms last forever," whatever.
Yeah.
My point is, as much as we hated hearing the term "the new normal," um, our life is normal, right?
Yeah.
Like,
I know.
we're it's our normal. We
Yeah.
wouldn't know any different, and we don't act as if it's any different,
Right.
and yes, I had to mourn the loss of that 19-year-old that wanted to athleticism to carry his career, but
Mm.
I also look back and go, "I would never wanna be that person again at that age." I was such a cocky, young, arrogant man, and so if I've embraced the new platform that it's given me
Yeah.
and a new purpose, because we believe we're very much people of faith that we've been born with a purpose, and fulfilling that purpose is what actually brings true joy. Like,
Yeah.
you can't find it in a pill, a bottle, or money. You'll still be left wanting, but my greatest joy is seeing others, um, finding their way through a problem they never thought they could get out of. So if I
Yeah.
can help them at least take a step or 2 steps so they've got momentum forward, to hear emails 3 or 4 years later saying, "You know what? If it weren't for your words at this time or your support
Wow.
at this time, I don't know where we'd be." And those are things that you'd say, "Well, that's much more valuable than a any finances or any trip you could go on." That's the
Sure.
rewarding part, that you've left a life, you've left a mark on their eternity, right?
Oh, yeah. Julie, I know he mentioned caregiver burnout. I know that's a real thing. Maybe people don't realize what you need to know about caregivers, maybe something other people don't even think about. Could you offer some encouragement to somebody that's needs some encouragement right now in that area?
I would just say just reach out to someone that's close to you. I think that was part of my issue is I didn't think that there was anyone that would understand what I was going through. I mean, I didn't even know what caregiver
Yeah.
burnout was until a counselor told me about it and said, "This is what you're experiencing." But I honestly thought I'm alone in this. I don't know who to reach out to. But I found out that really it comes down to communication. And
Yeah.
people around us, they may see that we need help, or maybe there's, they want to help, but they don't know if that's something we want. So I know for us, our family noticed and they tried to encourage us to get some help, but we were both, I think, in denial a bit. But it was nice to finally find out that there are people going through the same thing as us. You were saying have a conversation before it's a crisis. So
Right. That's good.
that's even with, like, for us, it was for Stephen and I.
Yeah.
We we ended up to a point where
Need to walk
I,
away.
I'm gonna have to leave because I don't feel like a wife. I'm just somebody who has to do these things all the time,
Yeah.
and I'm always asked to do this, and this. And and he was to a point where I don't wanna ask you to do anything because I feel like that's all I'm doing, and I don't wanna be a burden. So
Well,
what's
it's
that?
hard.
Right. So had we communicated maybe when we first were feeling these um resentment or these
It
frustrations.
got to resentment
Yeah.
to the point where we thought, how can two people that loved one another so much reach a point where they want to even use that word resentment? But we would
Yeah.
cry because we just didn't know. And I am will say that Julie is the best version of a caregiver to me when she first takes care of Julie. So it took me a while to learn that she needs to go for out with her girlfriend. She needs to go visit family. Go do those things. Before I was terrified, no, stay with me, whatever, we'll take a trip together. No, if her well isn't full and she's just trying to pour out of a stagnant pond, um, I'm no better for it. Our relationship's no better for it. And then we're stuck in a, a partner and a business transaction. And so, while I did not wanna have caregivers come into my house when I'm 48, I was thinking at 60 or 50. I don't know what we have a marriage, we have a
Yeah.
relationship. She can be husband, wife, and they come in a couple hours in the morning, get me ready for the day, and to me, it's made all the world of difference in our relationship, and maybe you can speak to how it helped you, um, just being a wife
Yes.
again.
Yeah. Yeah, I think just I and just terms of encouragement, as you're saying, I don't know, there's just so much going through my head right now trying to put it into words. But even if it wasn't a husband and wife, if it's a parent and child,
Yeah.
or whatever the case may be, I just really feel don't isolate yourself. Just as I said before, just talk to someone because even if you
Sure.
don't know what you're feeling or why you're feeling these frustrations, or just that you just need help.
Yeah.
That person may not be able to help you themselves, but they may be able to help walk you through, okay, let's see if we can find someone else that could help or come alongside, or it's just don't become an island to yourself thinking that you have to carry everything yourself.
Yeah.
We all have messy lives. So
Sure.
why do we pretend that everything has to be in perfect order in the
Right.
exterior? Be okay with the messiness as long as you're communicating and working towards fixing whatever you find messy. But it's when we decide to paint on that facade like we have it all together,
Yeah.
it adds that much more pressure in terms of we can't let anyone know. And that's no way to you're not living, you're just surviving together then. And that's no
Yeah.
way surviving
I
is no
think
way to live.
that's why God gave us family and community because we weren't made to shoulder everything ourselves. So,
Absolutely. And I think that is such valuable advice because I can imagine thinking, you, Julie, thinking, I'm his wife. I need to be here. I need to be taking care of him, doing everything. But how awesome is it for him to encourage that, to have somebody else come and help? It helps. It's not hurting anything. It helps. And I just think that is such valuable advice. I love that you shared that. I was going to ask, as an interable couple, what have you learned from one another?
Communicate.
Yeah.
That's
We
what you say all the time. Give me three things, and he'll say, communicate, communicate, communicate.
give us 3
It's the most
reasons.
important.
Yeah.
It is. Life doesn't stay the same.
Yeah.
So we move in and out of seasons.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be going through different abilities. So I don't care if people call it disabled, handicap, whatever.
Right.
Ableism police, they'll be all over that. But I'm
Oh,
not
yeah.
into ableism. It is, we call what it is. We just speak it as truth. But I would
Yeah.
say that um yeah, we're in and out of a state of need all our lives. Like we're born, we're not fully able and functioning, and we need
Right.
care given to us. And then when Julie went through her cancer surgeries, I found myself on the other side of the bed, only getting a little taste of what she's done her whole life with
Yeah.
me. And I'm like, I couldn't fix. And that was the hardest part for me as a caregiver is I can't fix, I can only watch. But
Right.
I heard her say that so many times. So I think what Julie has taught me, um, a few things is number one, that there's nothing you can't do that you put your mind to. You are the strongest woman I know, which is a positive for the most part. Any strength taken too far becomes weakness. I know that. And that, secondly, that I never thought about relationship after when I was 19. I, as much as I loved girls, I didn't see anyone. I had nothing from the shoulders down for about 4 or 5 months, and
Yeah.
that's just what the doctor said. The vegetative state he's in is, to my parents, that's what he will see the rest of his life. But Julie didn't see that. You you saw someone that just sat down, I guess. So, I don't know if you've learned anything
Right.
from me, but yeah.
From you, I've probably learned a lot. I think just getting up each day, regardless of how you feel, and continuing to go. Um, that's that's been huge on me. As much as I know you probably don't see it that way, but I have learned that regardless of how you're feeling or your ability or inability, we just we do each day as it comes. And um, I think also seeing you have to be dependent on others or specifically on the Lord. Um, that's been huge for me because I've always been someone who is very stubborn and independent. And yes, that can be good at times, but as you said, any strength taken too far can be weakness.
Yeah.
And so just seeing that it's okay to rely on someone else has been a lesson that I think I've learned from you.
I would like to think our lives aren't too terribly different than a household with 2 able-bodied people. There's more work and maybe a little more communication, but and I guess getting used to the fact that illness is much more prevalent maybe, and that it's hard to watch or whatever, it's hard to go through, but I at first, when I was 19, I was so embarrassed of the wheelchair. I didn't wanna be ever taken out of my private room. But it's to a point now that I don't even notice it. Julia will watch, people walk into a light standard, or a kid will walk right through a potato chip display in the store, and I don't even see people looking at me any different. So
Right.
I'm comfortable in my skin, but I can understand that those that are freshly going through an injury,
Yeah.
it takes some integration again and some
Yes.
understanding. And I think that interabled label is fairly new, because you would say it, and I've said it too. Like I'll hear people congratulate me for being able to have a good podcast or whatever, and I'm grateful because I know it's coming from their heart. But someone that's bitter or able, they'd say, "Well, why would it be any different? I can still use my lips. Like, why am I being congratulated for something I can do normally? But I get it. Their heart is good.
Yeah.
It's just accepting people are curious, and that's okay. It's just, again, authenticity. Just
Yeah.
allow us to be who we are and don't get upset.
Absolutely.
Talk about the problem or talk. If you've got questions, that's why we say on the bottom of our website, ask us. We're
Yeah.
happy to tell you anything.
Sure. That's awesome. Do you feel like churches and maybe communities could do better in supporting couples and families in your situation? And if so, how could they do that? How could they improve the way they support?
I'm a retired pastor, so I may be a little bit more harsh at the reality. I still consider
Yeah.
myself a pastor licensed, but um, I would say there's one word that if we just flipped the one word, it would make all the difference in the world. Churches love to have ministries for people, ministries for this, for independent moms, or single moms, for Parkinson's group, and I wish when it came to churches with individuals with disabilities, um, not so much the support side yet, but rather than looking at doing things for individuals with disability, recognizing that Jesus placed worth and spiritual giftedness into these people that have maybe a broken body, but it doesn't it may not look as polished as we like church to look, but rather than do things for a ministry for, how about doing a ministry with?
Oh,
Allowing
wow.
people with disabilities, change for to with, and it'll make all the difference in the world. It doesn't marginalize people from coming to church and having somewhere where they can sit or that there's a special service for them. In cases where there's sensory issues, sure, makes all the sense in the world. But like I said, Jesus placed a huge emphasis on the widows, the sick, and the lame.
Right.
And I think if the church were to look at it and say, forget how pretty things have to look and all put together, sometimes it might look a little messy or look different, but different doesn't make it wrong.
Right.
Let people use whatever ability they have to serve the Lord. That's where I feel do better in that area.
I
Uh,
love that.
in terms of support, don't know. I guess I've always been so involved in ministry, even up to this day, that my eyes haven't really kind of looked at how have we been supported. I'm kind of still looking out the other way still, so I haven't thought it through that way. Maybe you have. And the people have
Yeah.
really cared for us. Where I've pastored in numerous churches, it was me that thought I had to do more to
Yeah.
prove that I was every bit as capable as their other 40-hour or 50-hour man, and that just wasn't a reasonable expectation of my body, and I got sick quick because but they all everywhere I've ministered, God's people have been good to us, really good to us.
That's
Uh,
awesome. When people go to the blog and read, or they listen to your podcast, or they see the work that you're doing, what are you hoping that they walk away knowing or feeling?
Encouraged.
Yeah.
Was probably be our biggest
Yeah.
point. Is that's our whole purpose is to see people thrive where they are in life and regardless of the circumstances. So I know it's not always going to be sunny days.
Right.
It's not for us, but we still um, we still can make it through those days. And
and our
so
source of that
yeah,
our source of that is our faith.
yeah,
That's what we
Yeah.
want people to know.
Yeah.
We can't do this in our own strength.
Sure.
It's only by what God has done in
Yeah.
his grace in our lives through what Christ has done on our behalf that we're able to stand and sit this way. Stephen and Julie don't have it in and of it themselves. We can promise you that.
Yeah. Your story is very inspiring, and I know people are going to be encouraged. I'll have all your information available, but I hope they'll go and listen to your podcast and read what you've done because you are encouraging. Even just to me, you're very encouraging. Is there anything that you want to mention that I have not talked about?
Check out our our nonprofit. We're there to help. We've started a for-profit side of SwagAbility. It's called SwagAbility Studios for podcasters that maybe don't want to buy the equipment and everything. And so we've started taking on some editors and things. And so we'll now provide the software, provide the service. So people just have to show up at their computer. We'll even provide the guest and the script. If you want to get your feet wet in podcasting, but don't want to spend any money, just check out swagabilitystudios.com and just a list of things. We try to make it easier for the podcaster to get started.
Sure.
And then whatever is too heavy of a load for them to continue. I've been fortunate enough to meet some people in some other countries that do a great job at editing, but can do it at a more reasonable price, and they love doing it. So that's kind of the other side of things.
Thank you so much. You've been such a good host.
Well, this has been wonderful. I've been looking forward to this, and I'm excited to meet y'all. Thank you so much for being guests today.
Thank you.
It was so much a normal conversation that has been probably the easiest feeling of just talking, because that's really what I try and tell people: hit record and talk.
Yes.
Too worried we're about scripted, but this has been great. Thank you.
Well, thank you. That makes me feel good because that's all I want is just to have a great
You
conversation.
nailed it.
So, yeah. Well, thank you. Y'all enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.
you
God
too.
bless.
All right.
Care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.